We have just celebrated the birth of Christ, and immediately we move on to the beginning of his public ministry and the feast of the baptism of the Lord. This Sunday, it seems the church wants us to move forward with him in his same mission. St. Paul, in our second reading, tells us there are different gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different ministries, but the same Lord. There are different works, but the same God who accomplishes all of them in everyone. To each person is a manifestation of the Spirit, is given for the common good. This is not a call for volunteers to work with Christ, but a call to discipleship. This will be the center of a topic for the next year. Discipleship. We respond. God calls, we respond. This fundamental, essential pattern in the life of every believer appears throughout our scriptures. God calls a chosen people, leaders and prophets. Jesus calls apostles and disciples. The Second Vatican Council decree Lumen Gentium tells us the basic call is the same for all the followers of Christ, namely that all Christians in whatever state or walk of life are called to fullness of Christian life, to the perfection of charity and holiness, conducive to a more human way of living, even in a society here on earth. However, according to their own gifts and duties, must steadfastly advance along the way of living faith, which arouses hope and works through love. We cannot live an adult Catholic life on what we learned in grade school. We have to be continually understanding what God wants of us and what gifts he has given to us. The word disciple means learner. We are always going to be learners. There might be a new trend, I don't know, but Amazon.com last year, the largest selling book was the Bible. Maybe people are now beginning to think that they need to do more as a Christian. In the Council's decree on the apostolate of the lay people, we read, sharing in the function of Christ's priest, prophet, and king. You remember that you are baptized into priest, prophet, and king. The laity has an active part to play in their own life and activity of the church. Their activity within the church communities is so necessary that without it, the apostolate of the pastor could not be gained. Pope Paul VI on evangelization wrote, the laity can feel called, or in fact be called, to cooperate with the pastor in the service of the ecclesial community for the sake of the growth and life of that community. This can be done through the exercise of different kinds of ministries. If you look at our bulletin, I look at the bulletins of several other parishes, there's nothing in there. I don't mean to compare and say that they're lacking, but I give our bulletin away to a lot of priests because there's so much in there. I want them to be able to see that the different ministries that are here in our parish could be theirs in order to lift up the discipleship of the parishioners. We're going to talk about discipleship for quite a while and your need to continue to learn as a Christian. If you didn't like this sermon, you'll get my other sermon in the bulletin.